If you've missed a show, the full audio library is at radiomd.com. And now back to you, the Owner's Manual Radio Show.
And we're talking about hope and how to get some. Dr. Shane Lopez, Gallup senior scientist, world's leading authority on psychology of hope. Book's called Making Hope Happen, Create the Future You Want for Yourself and Others, from Atria Books, a division of Simon & Schuster. And here again with Dr. Shane Lopez, Dr. Mike Royson. Dr. Mike.
Shane, now in the book there are 3 steps to gaining hope that you use. Tell us about them.
Sure. 89% of people on the planet are optimistic, so we've got that going for us. It's kind of part of who we are as human beings. But number 1, we need to futurecast, so creating that optimistic picture in a very clear, vivid way. Number 2, we need to plan for the ifs of life. And number 3, we need to put hope on autopilot to some extent. So future casting, planning for the ifs of life, and putting hope on autopilot. With future casting, one fun way to do it if you want to throw yourself into this, you start taking pictures with your smartphone. You start taking pictures of what you want your life to look like in the future. So whether you're a college graduate today or you're thinking about retirement, you start taking photos and you kind of build this photo collage of what you want your future to look like. With the planning for ifs, you really have to think about what are all the obstacles that will pop up and get in your way to make that future a reality. And finally, putting hope on autopilot, you really have to set some defaults in your life that give you some more time and energy to work on the goals that matter most. And the simplest way, and it sounds so simple that it wouldn't work, but it's worked every time we've studied it, and that's creating a when-where plan around every goal you set for yourself. So when will I start it, and where will I be when I start it? So if you're going to plan a new workout regimen, then you need to say Monday, 8:30 at the Summit Gym. That's when I'm going to start. And just that when-where plan creates a psychological trigger in your brain that encourages you to show up on time and get the work done.
We should say, and I should say, this is a wonderful book, Making Hope Happen. It's a cover with a balloon rising on its cover as well, Making Hope Happen, and the website is hopemonger, monger.com. It's a great website, so I love the website. Now, can people share stories on the website, hopeful stories?
Yeah. You can do what's called making a ripple. So you can, and I borrowed that from a great R.F. Kennedy quote from one of his final speeches, but make a ripple of hope where you respond to one of those nagging feelings that you have that someone should do something in your community about this problem. You get a team together and you identify the thing you want to do, and then you start working on it, and then you share that plan via social media to get other people's support. And that would be a great way of not only building a hopeful story, but also sharing a hopeful story.
Now, what do you make the point that a corporate that employees who are hopeful are quote 14% more productive?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by, how does a corporation go about instilling hope in their employees? Is there a way of doing that?
Well, I'm so glad you brought it up. I mean, the number one way that we found is having an enthusiastic leader, a leader that's enthusiastic about the future. And you would think every company would have that, but most companies don't. And when you stop being enthusiastic about the future of your own company, you're no longer a leader. But what we found is that folks who have enthusiastic leaders that they look up to and feel cared for by are much more hopeful. Those hopeful people essentially could take a day off a week if we were really being fair, because they're 14% more productive than their low-hope counterparts. So a hopeful person gets as much done in 6 days as it takes a low-hope person to do in 7 days.
So we should give Joe has a lot of hope, so we should give him
$575 million, right? Baby. Yeah.
Joe has a lot of hope. He's also wishing for that Powerball, and I want you to know, wishing is dangerous. Wishing can undermine good health. It can undermine your future. But hope is very powerful, but it is hard work.
Well, I'm willing to share it with you guys if something happens.
So, well, okay, I'll take the offer,
okay,
Joe.
I'll go with that, Joe.
But essentially, what we're saying is this is not something you can do and say, I hope that I'm going to be great and forget it. It is hard work. That is, You take the pictures, you go through the ifs, and you work through them, and then you put some of the rest of your life on autopilot so you can really work on hitting the goals.
You got it. And we can only work on 2 or 3 meaningful goals in our lives at one time in any earnest way. So, yeah, we got to put the rest of our life on autopilot to get that done. And, we're not good at really planning for the ifs. So we're not really good at planning for obstacles. And also, we're not really good at coming up with multiple ways to get things done. So I would encourage people to spend a lot of time planning for the ifs and coming up with multiple ways around those obstacles.
I love it. You're listening to You, the Owner's Manual, and this is Making Hope Happen. The book is by Shane Lopez. The website, which also can link you to the book so you can get it on Amazon, is hopemonger.com.